Hello and welcome to the scheduling information session from Hickory High School. My name is Lisa Rowland and I am the Director of Guidance here at Hickory High School, and welcome to the class of 2025. This is what we're hoping that you're going to learn today. We want you to know more information about high school in general. We want you to be familiar with graduation requirements. We want you to know the process for scheduling, and we want you to learn some information about how to select courses. So let's start with general high school information. Some of the things that are different in high school are that the counselors are assigned by name, not by grade level. There are no core teams. Lunches and classes are with students from all different grade levels. Lunches are done by where you are in the building, not by particular grade levels. There is a 9-day attendance policy and the potential loss of credit. Since credits are assigned at the high school, there is a requirement that you have to be in a class for a certain amount of time. And when I say in the class, I mean receiving instruction for that amount of time. If you are missing too many days, then it is the potential to lose credit for the course, even if you have a passing grade. There are extenuating circumstances that can be approved, and there's paperwork to go along with that, but we do like to make sure everyone is aware that the attendance policy is extremely important in the high school because you could possibly lose credits. The other thing about the high school is that the credits are on the 4x4 schedule. They are not year-long classes, aside from music classes, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So a 4x4 block schedule is done kind of how a college is done. So you have 4 classes in the fall and then 4 different classes in the spring. So what you're doing in the full year-long classes right now, you're going to do in half the amount of time, but you're only going to have half the classes. So it works out. The first semester usually goes from September to January, and the second semester is usually February to June. There are lots of terms that you need to know, things that you're going to hear people talking about. So I want to go ahead and give you some definitions just so you're familiar with what they're talking about. The first thing is credit. I've already mentioned credits before, and this is what you earn when you pass a class in high school. You also earn verified credits, and that happens when you pass the class and the SOL test for that class. Then you have your GPA, or grade point average, and that's a cumulative average of all your high school grades. If you're taking a class for high school credit now, such as algebra or Spanish, those grades will also be included into your grade point average. Sequential elective. All students do have to have a sequential elective, and what that means, it's 2 classes that are taken where the information from one helps you with the other. So it could be Art 1 and Art 2. It could be keyboarding and computer information systems. It could be when you get to the upper level foreign languages, it could be Spanish 4 and Spanish 5, something like that. So there's a lot of different things that fulfill the requirement, but it is required for everyone to have a sequential elective. Also, profile of a graduate. This is what the Department of Education refers to with the graduation requirements, and the focus is on preparing students to be ready to go out into the world, whether you're going to be going to work or post-secondary education or training. Now, since we're not able to actually come and see you guys, we do want to go ahead and have you meet your counselors. You can see here, we have these pictures of our counselors, and you'll notice their name, and then the letters below that are the letters for the students' last names. So if you have your last name starting A through C-O-N, it will be with Miss Lennon. C-O-O through H-A-L is Miss Ruth. H-A-M through L-E-N is Miss Stooks. L-E-O through P-A-R is Miss Nelson. P-A-S through S-P is Mr. Markin. And S-Q through Z is Miss Johnson. So I want you to go ahead and get a face to put to a name. And hopefully you'll remember this for next year, but we always have this information out on the website as well. So let's talk about graduation requirements. There are 2 types of diplomas that the students work towards, and they are a standard diploma and the advanced studies diploma. So let's take a look at what credits you have to have for each of the diplomas. They're very similar in what they require. The advanced studies does require you to have more math, more science, more history, the foreign language, and a few more elective credits. So let's take a look at the standard diploma. You have to have 4 credits of English. That's English 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you have to take 2 SOLs, which are given in the 11th grade. They're English reading and English writing. You have to have 3 credits of math, which will include Algebra 1, Geometry, and 1 other math. You also have to have 1 SOL passed. For science, you have to have 3 credits of science. 2 of those classes must be from different families in science. Now, the families in science that we have are biological, chemical, physical, and the earth sciences. You also must pass 1 SOL. For history, you have to have 3 history classes. You have to have a World Studies or World History 1, U.S. History, and U.S. Government, and then the 1 SOL passed as well. You have to have 2 credits of Health and PE, that's Health and PE 9 and Health and PE 10. In the 9th grade, you do receive your CPR first aid training. It is a requirement for graduation, so it is important that you have that. In the 10th grade, you do receive driver's education. It is automatically built in. You don't have to sign up separately for it. It's part of the curriculum, but you don't get that until the 10th grade. Foreign language, you are not required to take a foreign language for a standard diploma. You do have to have economics and personal finance. It is taken in the 11th grade typically. All students will take the WISE test for the class, which is an industry credential test. And you also receive your online experience. Now, the online experience is a requirement for graduation. So with this one class, you can meet several different requirements. You do have to have 2 credits of fine arts, career and technical classes, or foreign languages. So fine arts are anything in the art, music classes, the performing music classes. The career and technical classes are things like your technology classes or business or marketing or family consumer science classes. So there's a lot of things that fall under those categories. And we do have foreign language here. You're not required to have a foreign language, but we do have some students that want to try a language. They take a year, maybe 2, and so they do earn some credits there, but they don't do the full requirement for the advanced studies diploma. You must also have 2 sequential electives. Now, I mentioned sequential electives before, and these are the classes where the information from one class builds on the next class. So everybody is required to have the sequential elective. In addition to that, all students must take an honors class or an AP or advanced placement class, or you have to pass an industry certification. Now, I mentioned that with the economics and personal finance, you do take the WISE test, which is an industry certification. So if you don't take an honors class or you don't take an AP class and pass them, then you still have your industry certification with the EPF and you're good. Now, for advanced studies diploma, you still have your 4 credits of English and your 2 SOLs, same as the standard. With the math, you do have 4 credits of math. That's Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and 1 other math. You also have to have your 1 SOL. Now, with that SOL, if you were taking a credit for high school in the middle school right now, so if you're in Algebra 1 or Geometry, and you take your SOL and you pass that, you pass the class, you earn your credit, and you get the verified credit because you passed the SOL as well. When you come to the high school, you still have to take an SOL when you come to the high school. That is a federal mandate. So if you're in geometry now, you take the class, you earn the credit, you get your verified credit, and then you come to Algebra 2, you still need to take that Algebra 2 SOL. For science, you have to have 4 credits of science, which are 3 of them have to be from 3 of the different families that I mentioned. So the earth sciences, biological sciences, chemical sciences, and physical sciences. And then 1 SOL. Now, that SOL, if you take earth science, and we're going to talk about sciences in a minute, if you take earth science in the 9th grade, which a lot of students do, and when you're in the class, you're required to take the SOL. So you get your verified credit and your SOL taken care of in the 9th grade. Then you go into biology in the 10th grade. In the 10th grade, when you take that biology class, even though you have your one SOL, biology is another one of those federally mandated SOL tests. So you would have to take the SOL in that class, even if you've earned the credit with the earth science. History, you do have to have 4 credits of history. That's World History 1, World History 2, US History, and US Government, still the 1 SOL. You have to have 2 credits of Health and PE, and you again get that CPR training in that class. Now, foreign language, you do have to have a foreign language for the Advanced Studies diploma, and you have to have 3 credits of the same language or 2 credits of 2 languages. So you can do Spanish 1, 2, and 3, or you can do Latin 1 and 2 and German 1 and 2. But you can't do French 1 and Latin 1 and 2. Even though it's 3 credits, it's not 3 credits of the same language. You still have to have the 1 Economics and Personal Finance. Again, that's your online experience and the industry credential test. You do have to have 1 fine art or career and technical credit. You also must have the sequential elective. Now, foreign language, you would think that this counts, French 1 and 2 should count, and in previous years it has. However, with the change of the graduation requirements a few years ago, you must have a sequential elective above and beyond any other requirements. So the foreign language 1, 2, and 3 cannot count. However, if you take Spanish and you go to Spanish 4 and 5, Spanish 4 and 5 can count as the sequential elective, but Spanish 1, 2, and 3 cannot because that fulfills the foreign language requirement. And again, you have to have the honors and the AP course or an industry certification test, and total credits of 22 for the standard diploma and 26 for the advanced studies. Now, promotion requirements. To go from the 9th grade to the 10th grade, you have to have the successful completion of 5 credits, that's 5 classes, and move on to the 2nd year of high school. To go from 10th grade to 11th grade, you have to complete 10 credits, and that includes the classes that you earned in the 9th grade, and then go on to the 3rd year of high school. Going from 11th grade to 12th grade, you have to complete 15 credits. And again, that includes the credits that you earn in the 9th grade and the 10th grade, and you have to be going on to your 4th year of high school. Now let's talk about the actual scheduling process. So in the week of January 11th, we're going to be giving all the information out to you guys, which obviously you're watching this video, you'll know that. And you're going to have the ability to enter requests into Student View as of January 15th. If you go into Student View and you look over to the menu to the left, all of a sudden you're going to see student requests pop in there. And we're giving you guys the instructions on how to enter your requests, okay? So you have those to go by. The week of January 19th, middle school counselors are going to work with you guys on entering your schedule request and making your choices. On January 21st, there's going to be 2 virtual parent question and answer sessions that we're going to be hosting. The counselors at Hickory High School are going to be hosting. The first session is going to be at 12 noon, and the second session is going to be at 6 p.m. We're trying to have one during the day and one during the evening for those parents to work around other schedules. The link for the meeting will be shared on the 19th, and parents are going to be able to submit questions before the sessions if they want to ask them beforehand, which really helps us to go ahead and prepare and have all the information ahead of time. All the questions will be typed and posted on the Hickory High School website, so if somebody's not able to come, they can see what the questions were and what the answers were. So if they're not able to participate in either of the sessions, this information is still going to be there. On February 22nd, in Parent View, your parents are going to be able to review the request that you put in. At that point in time, they're either going to say, yes, I agree with them, or no, I need to make a change, and we can make a change at that point in time. And it'll be done electronically. March 1st, all requests are finalized and changes cannot be made. So it's really important to make those decisions prior to March 1st. Okay, so what do you need to do? First thing, you're going to review all of your scheduling materials. We're including the video, we're including a scheduling sheet, and you're going to use that for planning purposes. and we have the scheduling booklet. We also have the website, and since we're not able to do an elective fair as we've done in the past, we are doing a virtual elective fair. So we have information that's going to be going to the website that gives descriptions of all the different classes. Sometimes it's a handout and sometimes it's a video. Just kind of gives you an idea of what you will actually do when you go to those classes. Um, you should discuss the course selections with your parents and enter your request into Student View. Now let's talk about the actual course selections. So here are some guidelines for scheduling. All students have to have 8 classes. All students also need to have 2 alternate classes. Now the alternates are for the electives. So if you put down your top choices of band, Latin 3, and technical drawing, and we put your schedule together and we can fit in the band and the Latin 3, but the technical drawing is offered at the same time as the Latin 3, then we have to have something else to fit into your schedule. That's where an alternate comes in. So these are the classes beyond the 8 selections that you make originally. We need to have those because conflicts do happen in the schedule. We are going to look at your alternates to try to see if we can fit that into your schedule. If you don't put alternates down, then we will make a best selection for you based upon our information. So please make sure you put down alternates. Students may also take 2 math classes, 2 languages, or 2 sciences in the same year as long as they stay in sequence. So they could take Algebra 1 and Geometry, Algebra 1 in the fall and Geometry in the spring, 2 math classes in sequence. Students who want to take a music class, one of the performing music classes, chorus, band, or orchestra, those are classes that are offered every other day all year long. So you're able to participate in all the concerts and performances and so forth. But you're only there every other day. So the class that you're going to take on the opposite day is going to be health and PE. And so one day you'll take health and PE, one day you'll take music, health and PE, music, and so forth. Students who have disabilities should work with their case managers to make sure that they're scheduled according to their individual education plan. We want to make sure that we're meeting your needs, so make sure you speak with your case manager to get signed up for the correct classes. We also get a lot of classes about honors classes versus academic level classes. So some of the things that are the same for both of these classes are both of them will give you high school credit, and both of them will meet the requirements for either diploma. So you can take all academic classes and still get the advanced studies diploma. You might take a mix of honors and academic level courses. That's perfectly fine. However, honors classes are accelerated. They do go to a faster pace and they do require a little bit more analysis of information. Honors level courses do give an extra weight to the GPA, which means that after you've averaged out all your grades, you add on an extra weight at the end, an extra 0.025 at the end to give a little boost to that final GPA, which sounds great. Except if you take an honors class and you don't do well in it, you're hurting your GPA. So only take honors classes where you think you're going to do well. And because of that, it's only recommended for students who have earned a B or better in that area in the past. So if you make an A or a B in English and you want to take an honors level class in English, that's awesome. That's definitely what you should do. But if you have struggled in English all the way through, you don't like to read, you don't like to write, that's probably not where you want to take an honors level class. You're completely able to take honors and academic level classes, both. You might want to take some honors and some academic. You might do all honors, might do all academic. It's kind of a salad bar. You can choose and pick which way you want to do it. Now, let's go over what's required for you to have. You have to have English 9. You can take it at an academics or an honors level course. History, which is World History 1, you take it at an honors or an academic level. Also, I want to let you know if you're going for a standard diploma and you are having trouble fitting everything into your class schedule of the things that you want to take, whether you want to be able to take more classes, more electives, fit in band or chorus, Or if you have to fit in more resource bells and you're having a hard time fitting everything in, you can, if you're going for a standard diploma, put the world history off until the 10th grade year, since you only need 3 credits of history prior to graduation. The advanced studies diploma, that's much more difficult to do. So you would need to do that only if you're going for a standard diploma, or could do that only if you're going for a standard diploma. Now, math. You do algebra and geometry, AFDA, Algebra 2, and then trig, and we're going to talk more about math in just a minute. Science, you can do it at an honors or an academic level, and we're going to discuss your science options in just a minute as well. You do have to have a health and PE, and then you have to have electives. Again, as I mentioned way before, you do have to have 8 credits. Now, for math, typically students go from Algebra 1 to geometry to either AFDA or Algebra 2, and then if you're into AFDA, you go to Algebra 2 and then trigonometry. And so let's talk about Algebra 1 and geometry. They can be done as a semester class, like all the other classes aside from music. They can be done in one semester, and it gives you 1 credit. Or they can be done in parts, which you take part of it in the fall and part of it in the spring, and you end up with 2 credits since you're taking it twice as long. One of those credits, the first semester, the first part, is going to be considered a math elective credit. And then the spring, when you finish the class, it is the actual math credit that counts for the standard or advanced studies diploma, because both of those do count for either of the diplomas. Why would you take a class in parts versus a semester? If you are the student who struggles in math, and believe me, you are not alone in that, and you need a little bit more time to review, then going in parts is the best thing for you. If you go in a semester, you're taking what you're doing right now in math and putting it in half the amount of time. So it goes at a much faster pace. So if you need more time to be able to process that information, you have to have more exposure to that math, you really have to kind of slow it down to really get it, then go ahead and take it in parts. We definitely would recommend you doing that. Just because you do parts in your 9th grade year doesn't mean that you need to do the geometry in parts in your 10th grade year. That's perfectly fine if you feel that you're ready to do that. But if you're really struggling with math, we definitely recommend taking the math in parts. Now, AFDA or Algebra 2. AFDA is Algebra Functions and Data Analysis. It's a big mouthful, which is why we just call it AFDA. If you are the student who struggles in math, then having the AFDA is a good choice. If you need more time to review information, if you need to have more time to process new concepts, you should have that AFDA before going to Algebra 2. Both classes do count as math credits for both the standard and the advanced studies diploma, which means you can take Algebra 1, geometry, AFDA, and Algebra 2 and have your 4 credits for your advanced studies diploma. For science, so we get a lot of questions about earth science versus environmental science. Environmental science was brand new this past year and it's had a lot of success, and the kids who are in there are really enjoying the class. So I'm going to go over some information about the 2 different classes. For the earth science, there's an honors level available, and there's not one for the environmental science. In the earth science class, it's mostly 9th graders. However, with the environmental science, we do have students 9 through 12 in there. So if you want to have a little bit more of a mixture in your classes, that's the class that you'd like to take. There is an SOL test for the earth science, and you are required to take it. And there's no SOL in the environmental science. Now, that means that in the 9th grade, if you take earth science in 9th grade, you take your SOL, you pass your class. Then in the 10th grade, you take biology, which is the next science that's required. You take the biology. Biology is one of those classes where the test is federally mandated. So even though you've gotten your 1 science SOL with the earth science, you still need to take that biology SOL. Whereas if you're doing the environmental science, because there isn't an SOL, the first SOL in high school that you would take for science would be the biology, and that would be the only one you would have to take. Both the earth science and the environmental science fall under that earth sciences category, so either of them count for either of the diplomas. And then you can look over and see what they do in earth science involving plate tectonics and learning the atmosphere and rock cycle and universe. And environmental science is a little bit more systemic. So they're looking at the ecosystems and the human population growth and natural resources and how all of that creates the environmental changes that we are facing at this moment. So depending on what you want to study, that may help you make your decision. Depending on it, maybe that you don't want to have to worry about taking an SOL in ninth grade since you have to take the one in with the biology. Let's go ahead and do that now. Let's take the environmental science. But if you want another honors class, the earth science is your choice. So either of them work, you will be able to make your choice. Now, the third science option that you have is also biology. We do have students that will take biology in the ninth grade. Often they take earth science and biology or environmental science and biology because if you start with biology in the ninth grade and you don't have an earth science, you're going for that advanced studies diploma. That does mean that 3 of the sciences that you take have to be in those different science families. So you would have to take biology, chemistry, physics, and one other science. So that's a lot of students know that they don't want to end up taking physics, so they choose to go with the earth science or environmental science in addition to the biology. Again, you can double up and you can take earth science or environmental science one semester and biology the next semester. That's perfectly fine. If you want to take just biology, that is one class that we do recommend that you be a more advanced student since you're going to be looking at getting through physics by the time you graduate. Other classes that are required, you do have to have that health and PE. Everyone does have to have this. As I mentioned several times, you do get that CPR first aid training that's required for graduation. You can take it in the semester, which most of you are going to take it in a semester format. But if you're going to be taking any of the performing music classes, chorus, band, orchestra, you will take the alternating day because you're going to have that one day and you're going to have your music class the next day, and then you're back to PE, and then music, and then PE and music, and so forth. Foreign languages, we offer French, German, Latin, and Spanish. So you can choose to take one of those. If you're taking one of those languages now and want to continue, you can go to the next level. If you're still debating on which diploma you want to work towards, you don't have to take that language in ninth grade. We do have students that start off with a standard diploma and then decide in their sophomore year that they want to go for an advanced studies diploma, and they still have plenty of time to be able to fit that foreign language in, since you can take 2 of the languages in the same year, one in the fall, one in the spring. So it does allow them a little bit more flexibility. Music classes, make sure that if you were really wanting that music class, that you fit that into your classes in your request. Remember that it is an all-year class in an alternating day format with the alternating day health and PE. Now, there are some programs that are a little different that offer classes outside of the building. There's Chesapeake Virtual Academy, and that is not what we're doing right now in the format that we're using right now. We'll talk about that in a second. There's the Governor School for Performing Arts, the academies, whether at Grassfield or Deep Creek, or IB at Oscar Smith, College and Career Pathways, and the Chesapeake Career Center. So I'm going to go over each of these. For the Chesapeake Virtual Academy, this is brand new for next year. This is for the 21-22 school year. It is not what we've been doing, but we do know that some students have had great success with being virtual, even if you weren't being very successful prior to being virtual. Some people have taken to it like a duck in water, and that's awesome. So we want to have an offering for you so you can continue to be successful, so you can continue to have that fully online program. So this is something for you. However, we do have people who will take 1, maybe 2 classes through the Chesapeake Virtual Academy. That's all they're going to do is just 1 or 2 classes, and the rest of their classes are going to be in the building. Classes that are going to be taught with the Virtual Academy are going to be Chesapeake teachers. However, they may not be Hickory teachers. Classes are asynchronous, which means that there's not direct instruction. You don't have to log on at 10 o'clock for your English class. It could be the teacher has posted the assignment and you can log on and do it at 10 o'clock in the morning, or you can do it at 10 o'clock at night if you're a night owl. But you do have to do the work because there are assignments given weekly and they do have deadlines. So it is not self-paced where you can decide when you want to turn things in. There's still deadlines and you do have to have your work done weekly. You are still a student. If you decide to do the fully virtual program, you're still a Hickory Hawk. You will still be able to participate in clubs and sports, activities, dances, games, whatever else you want to participate in. So you absolutely are still a Hickory Hawk. Now we're going to watch a video put out by Mr. Stephen Chamberlain, who is the coordinator for the virtual program.
Hello. In this video, we will look at scheduling options for online classes in the 2021-2022 school year. This school year, we implemented the Chesapeake Online program as an emergency response to the COVID pandemic. That program may continue in the 2021-2022 school year if needed. Students who signed up for Chesapeake Online received a synchronous learning experience in which they were able to interact daily through live instruction with their teacher. Students who select Chesapeake Virtual Academy for the 2021-2022 school year will have a different experience. All classes in the Chesapeake Virtual Academy are asynchronous, which means students are able to work independently at their own pace and will not receive daily live instruction from their teacher. Students that sign up for classes with Chesapeake Virtual Academy will remain connected to their home school and can participate in all school-sponsored sports clubs and activities. Chesapeake Virtual Academy courses are also taken as part of a student's normal course load. For most high school students in Chesapeake, that is a maximum of 8 courses each year. While Chesapeake Virtual Academy courses can be completed at any location, students do have to be on campus for all required Virginia Department of Education and College Board testing. Students have 2 options for enrolling in Chesapeake Virtual Academy. They can enroll as a part-time CVA student, where they will take a mix of online and traditional courses at their home school. Other students may wish to be full-time virtual students. In this case, they can take all of their classes through Chesapeake Virtual Academy. In the coming slides, you will be able to see the courses that are offered. If a course is not offered through Chesapeake Virtual Academy, we can look at supplementing with course offerings in Virtual Virginia. Full-time students that choose Chesapeake Virtual Academy are committing to a full year in the academy. Should students change their mind after course requests in the spring, they have until June 7th, 2021 to withdraw as a full-time student from the academy. Students who sign up for Chesapeake Virtual Academy courses will not be required to log in at a specific time of day. Instead, they can work at their own pace to complete individual assignments in a manner that best suits them. Each course will have a list of assignments that are due throughout the week, and students must remain on pace as set by the teacher. CVA students can complete their coursework anywhere that an internet connection is available. Students who have the ability to work from home may do so, or they may work from school. All students in Chesapeake Virtual Academy need to be independent, self-directed learners that are comfortable using the Schoology learning management system and email. Students will also have access to online learning support sessions with teachers as needed. These sessions, however, will not be direct synchronous instruction as Chesapeake Online was during the 2020-2021 school year. All of the classes listed on this slide and the next will be available as Chesapeake Virtual Academy courses. When entering your course requests in Synergy, or scheduling with your counselor, you should be able to sign up for any of these classes. You will notice some of the classes have ALT listed after them. These classes are offered in a full year format on an alternating day basis. There are no AP Science classes offered through Chesapeake Virtual Academy. Students can take online AP Science classes through the Academy as they are enrolled through Virtual Virginia. All of these courses are Chesapeake Virtual Academy elective courses. Some of these are also offered in an alternating day, A-Day, B-Day format. Students will be able to earn the graduation requirements of sequential electives or career and technical education completer sequences through these CVA courses. All classes offered through CVA are always subject to sufficient enrollment and may not make if enough students do not select them. If you are interested in taking Chesapeake Virtual Academy courses, please enter them in your course requests for the 2021-2022 school year. You will be completing these course requests in Student View along with your counselor in the spring of this year. After students enter course requests in Student View, parents will be asked to verify and agree with those course requests in Parent View sometime in late February or early March. If you decide you would like to take a Chesapeake Virtual Academy course after your course requests have been entered, please see your counselor. Space is limited, and you may be able to secure a seat if there is empty space in a course. An important date to remember is the last day for full-time Chesapeake Virtual Academy students to withdraw from the program. That date is June 7th, 2021. If you have additional questions, please see your school counselor or contact Stephen Chamberlain, Supervisor of Chesapeake Online and E-Learning at stephen.chamberlain@cpschools.com.
There are some special programs that have applications. So we want you to go ahead and do the applications, but you need to pick your classes as if you were not going to do that program. We want to go ahead and get you a spot saved at Hickory High School. When you get your acceptance, we're happy to go back and remove that. But if it's a situation where you change your mind down the road that you don't want to do it, then you've lost your spot at Hickory if you haven't scheduled for it. So please make sure to go ahead and schedule for your classes as if you were not going to attend that program. So for the Governor School for the Arts, if you're accepted and you choose to go there, you should have 2 virtual classes to make sure you can fit everything into your schedule. There's a bus that will take you to the Governor's School, and it leaves during the 3rd block. And it's in the middle of the 3rd block, so you can't fit in a traditional class during your 3rd block class. However, if we put in a virtual class which does not have a specific time that's associated with it, then you could do the virtual class, still be able to get on the bus, and go to the Governor's School without a problem. If you are applying for an academy or the IB program, again, go ahead and apply for that, but assume that you're going to come to Hickory instead. We do have students that will sign up for academies or the IB program, but then choose at the last minute not to, and then we have to struggle to figure out what to put them in here at Hickory. So make sure you go ahead and plan for Hickory. We can always put you into one of the others. That's not a problem. Now, I also mentioned the Chesapeake Career Center. It's not available to you as a freshman or a freshman or a sophomore, but it is important if you're thinking about doing this in your junior or senior year because it takes up 2 blocks each semester. So that's 4 classes that it takes up. That's half of your schedule. To be able to fit everything in and meet the graduation requirement for the diploma that you choose, you may need to do everything extra up front in your 9th and 10th grade year. So it's really important to go ahead and make that kind of a plan. Now, the Chesapeake Career Center has amazing programs that they continue to add to every year. They can work to help you get an industry certification in that particular area, and more and more students are taking it, excuse me, and getting college credit for those classes as well. Now, college and career pathways. There are 3 pathways. There's mechatronics, there's general study certificate, and there's a social sciences transfer degree. And these are programs that were set up between Chesapeake and Tidewater Community College, or TCC, that allow students to work towards college credits as well as high school credits during their time in high school. The college credits are earned by taking classes with TCC or taking advanced placement courses and then earning a 3 or higher on the AP exam. They're a very prescribed set of classes that you have to take in order to meet this requirement. College classes with TCC, those credits are earned at TCC, or TCC gives credit for them with the AP exams, but those may not transfer to other four-year colleges. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to take these classes, I'm going to do this pathway, and I'm going to do this at TCC, and then I'm going to go to UVA, and that way I can have all those credits at UVA. UVA may not accept those classes, because I can tell you that making a 3 on an AP exam and going to UVA is probably not going to be accepted, simply because they expect you to have a 4 or 5 on that AP exam for them to give credit. So just because TCC gives you the credit does not mean that other colleges will. The classes that you actually take at TCC are with all levels of students. So you might be in a class with high school students, college age students, and adults who are coming back for particular certifications. And they are at cost, or they do come at a cost with TCC. There are dual enrollment courses that are offered at Hickory. The teachers are credentialed with TCC and the Chesapeake. They're taught at Hickory. But those classes may work towards these pathways, but any student can take them, such as college composition, which is probably our most popular one. We have lots of students take that, but very few students that actually do the pathway. So, and very few students currently take the pathways simply because they don't like how restricted they are with the classes. As I said, it is a very specific set of classes that they have to get each one of these degrees. And there are so many other ways for our students to earn college credits while in high school, taking those AP tests, taking those AP classes, other AP classes that are not on the pathways that they may be interested in doing. You know, it may be difficult to fit in all of the AP courses that you want to take and possibly earn college credit for in doing one of the pathways. So most of our students choose not to do it because they end up not liking the classes that they would have to take. They want to take other classes that are of more interest to them and are going to potentially give them more college credit. Okay, some final thoughts as I wrap up. Make sure you use your freshman scheduling sheet and the booklet to help you plan what you want to take. Please visit the website to check out our elective descriptions. If you read the course offering directory, it gives you a description, but it can be kind of technical, and it may not give you an idea of really what happens and what they do in the class. Our teachers have written great descriptions that actually tell you exactly what you're going to do and what you're going to get out of those classes. Remember, you are choosing the course, not the teacher. Choose your classes wisely. What you put down as your request is what makes us or helps us determine what is going to be offered next year. What classes are going to be offered, what teachers are going to teach them, how many teachers are going to be teaching how many sections. So we do that based upon what you guys say you want. Because that's all set, once the master schedule is set, we cannot honor any elective changes. Now, that is elective changes. If you have a required class that needs to change, you do have the first 5 days into the first semester to make that change. But after that first 5 days, it's set. So if you decide that you need to make a change at that point in time, you need to do it at the very beginning of the school year. The last thing I can tell you is you want to start strong and finish strong. You want to start the ninth grade doing well in your classes, making good grades, having good attendance, and you want to finish making good grades, having good attendance. That is something really important for you to do, whether it's if you're planning on going to work in the military or on to college. All of those things will be looking at that kind of information. Have you been a good student? Have you done what you need to? Do you have good attendance? Do you have any discipline issues? You want to be that student that employers or recruiters or college admissions people want to have. So start strong, finish strong. Thanks so much for your time. We look forward to working with you and your families in the coming years. Bye.